Okay, this should work. Hello everyone. My name is Eric. I do make video games. Currently working on a game called GB Rover, which you can wishlist on Steam. The link should be somewhere on the Twitch page or whatever. I should probably, I don't know. I don't think that you can do like clickable links, especially like on Twitch or whatever. Maybe I should like set up like a chatbot thing. I don't know how like necessary this is, but the like smart move, like it would be the smart thing to do, I guess. The music in the background today is the soundtrack for Turrican 2, which I still hope won't get me like any copyright bullshit. Turrican might be like on the like in terms of Amiga soundtracks on like the edge of it becoming a problem. But who knows? It'll be okay, I'm pretty sure. Okay. Yeah, that's the stream, alright. Like, it's sure that we stop it because I don't want to see myself like in a stream. It's weirding me out, especially if I'm already seeing the preview window. Anyway, I'm basically stalling here because I am very tired. Let's see how well all of this will go. This is a different folder. I did a lot of. Oh my god, what did I do throughout the week? It's been a weird week. I did some things that were related to GB Rover. I mean, I did a lot, but it's kind of like still trying to get into like some kind of like rhythm with like promotional stuff and all that. I think I'm slowly starting to figure out how to do it, but it's still it's still weird. Let's open this thing up. So again, to reiterate what I said last week, this isn't for the main part of GB Rover what I'm making. This is for an intended update for it once it's out. And it's like basically for an additional game mode that people can play if they want to. It's basically like my previous game Splinter Zone, but less complicated, which in itself was based on the endless attack mode of Mega Man 9 and 10. And if you like think about it, this is basically an endless attack mode like the one in Mega Man 9 and 10. Because I still think that these modes are kind of neat. And I think it's a nice addition to like a platformer like this. Also gives me again an opportunity to like play around with a bit more of the stage things that are built and like play around a bit more with enemies that may not have seen a lot of use. I might still just use the ones that I already use because they are kind of neat, but yeah, that's kind of like all the idea. And also it's like it makes it possible for me to show basically how I built the game without actually showing the game. So that's I think is kind of good. Again, I'm tired. Sorry if like my speech is a bit blah. It's been a day. 2 days actually. Like I spent yesterday at my brother's place. We had like a nice day over there. My other brother was there as well, and since it's a bit further away, I spent the night over there. Got woken up at 6 a.m. by my brother's cat who wanted to get inside. And yeah, didn't fall asleep again. So it's like I've been awake for a while. Just thinking. This one, there's like, oh yeah, this is like an enemy that for some reason isn't in the folder. Let's go inside here. Let's load those in. Let's load these in. I again don't really have an idea of what level to make. Haven't really thought about much, and Like frankly, it's like more for me. Okay, I'll figure it out as I go along, and this is all stuff that I can and might adjust later. And like, it doesn't like it won't take that much time. Let's just pick this one as well. Okay, good. So today, oh yeah, I still have to. Today, what I want to do is work with the fire ice thing, stage board tie set and stage stuff. So what we have is like, because way back, I don't know when, I think at the beginning of the year, like January or so, I did a Twitter poll about which level is worse, like fire or ice levels, and it was kind of split. So I decided to make like a fire level that also has ice in it. So it's like nobody likes it. And yeah, so that's the idea. It is centered around like their pits of lava and all that. Basically the fire part. It's not that elaborate. And it has like icy floors and these pipes where like blocks of ice fall out into the lava, and you have to ride these blocks, but they melt over time. So there's kind of this. There could be an idea to build a stage around these blocks, like you're having to jump over more of those blocks, but I don't think that it'll be this level, also because it would lend itself more to like a fully horizontal level, and we already built one of those the last time. And also in my list of which levels to make in here, which you can see, where's the camera? There, this here. You can this is like down there somewhere is the basically in the like fire ice tie set. The level itself I call the clockwork pit for reasons. There is no fully horizontal level, so we'll have to build either a level, oh god, how do I show this? Level, or a level that goes this way or this way. Yeah. This way. Yeah, okay. Oh, this way. Yeah. This way, whatever. Anyway, I think you get the idea. I could also just show it here. So I could either build a level that goes this way, this way, or this way. I think those are the ones. Yeah, or like down or like up. And I think I'm going to go with a level that goes like this. Like kind of. Now is the question, like it goes down first and then goes to the right horizontally. Now the question is, again, I have 6 screens that I can use. Do I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Or do I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? This is basically part of like how much like variation I want to give to myself aside from the shape. So the shape is still there. I mean, I could also do like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and then 6, but that's boring. I might as well just go like completely down at that point. Or I could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, that's like a very stark deviation from it, so I probably won't be doing that. The question is, do I want to have more horizontal stuff or more vertical stuff? Also, which enemy do I want to use? I kind of wanted to go down first. Going down first gives me kind of a lot of room to work with specific enemy encounters, because basically with the with the distance you fall down into the next room, I can basically set up the starting position in which you then have to fight whichever enemy is there. Which then already rules out these enemies, because they like move like around either the floor or the ceiling, and this isn't very interesting. Removes these enemies probably. Maybe as a no, I want to put them somewhere else. Could use this enemy. Removes this enemy as well. And also removes this enemy. I think. Yeah, let's just like keep him away. So now we have 3. We have general garbage. We have this like fridge that shoots ice blocks at us, or we have this good old Stompy that looks like a desk lamp. I could I do want to do one level where like you have to fight through several of those in different like configurations. I could do this within this tile set. Could actually be interesting. Yeah, let's do this one, because I could play around with ice physics as well. So you don't not only have like different heights where they start, or like you have to fight them when they're like below you and you're above them or whatever. It's also about, okay, now you're on ice physics, but the base encounter is basically the same. So you can, I can play around with that as well, which is cool, I think. It at least gives some kind of variation to all of this. So let's just pick this one. It's the most easy, I think, to use here. And then we'll go in here and we start building. So first thing we have to do is, as always, build a floor. So it starts here. So this is the starting screen. We set up a wall that goes on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, it goes down until like roughly here. Then we go here. Let's go down here. Put it up here. Do I want a ceiling? I don't think so. Then let's just... Now the interesting part is, do I want to go like down here, down here, down here, and then you fall down here? So it's better. It would be better to have like a route that goes like this: down here, down here, down here, and then you walk over there. I could also, because this is already kind of decided, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it goes until here. This is the limit of our stage. Okay, good. I'm not falling asleep. No, never. I could also put a ceiling here, but we'll see if I'll do that. Good. And now I think what I kind of would like to do, and so if the exit is here, we have a wall over here, or like a floor. What we could do is you start here. Oh yeah, another thing I would like, please show me the grid, thank you. If you put a floor here, so that you kind of have to go this way, that you can't fall straight down, and maybe we could put something here, and then we do use one of these kind of as a starting point. because using this fella will like make things weird, because he will, like, you are here, he will start moving and will then jump into the pit, and it'll be awkward. I mean, I think what's that? Interesting. Oh yeah, I don't need this as well. Yeah, okay, this wasn't. Let's flatten this. I think here it is okay to have the player fall down, but the next like screens need to be like done via ladders. So we have this thing. So we start here, fall down, and here like our friend is driving around. Then we fall down here. This is like the floor. The problem always with ladders is that you can kind of cheese what's happening. At the same time, the like stompers, I don't think will fall through like a gap this wide. Let's because like one thing you have to keep in mind, these things don't have pathfinding. They have no idea what a pit is. I mean, he doesn't fit through. So you see, he's too large. I mean, it depends on the hitbox itself, but I think it's like roughly like this size, like roughly. Let's see, like roughly this big. So I could do that. It's a bit awkward, but this isn't a problem because I can send this around. This one will basically jump after you, so you could just run past it. I mean, you can always run past enemies. It's like just a matter of how well you're able to do it. So, because I don't want to like run into a situation where you climb down, the like bot starts jumping around, and you're like, for example, if you're too slow, like the like thing will then be below you and just jump into the wall, and you can't really do stuff. Like I kind of want to, again, I want to like to some degree like bring you into a situation where the question is, okay, you now have to somehow get past this. How are you going to get past this? And like there's a time pressure element in this sense because you can't decide when you start the encounter. Basically, if we were on the ladder here, you could decide when to drop down the ladder and initiate the encounter, so to speak. I could do it in such a way that you climb down the ladder stops here in the transition, and the player character moves further down, like stops being on a ladder and like falls down the rest bit. But that's kind of, I feel unelegant. It's like, I don't want to build it, like it feels gimmicky and strange. So I'll just build it this way, and we'll see how it works. And the best way to start an encounter with this enemy, is to build like two things here that are kind of like shaped like this, and then we'll I don't know, maybe not like this, because he jumps fairly high. Let's put it this way and put him here. So he'll start jumping down here, and you have to jump up, and then that's the fight. The next one, again, it's like you introduce the enemy, then you start like increasing the difficulty, like to like, this is like quote unquote easy, then moderate, then hard, then easy again. So so we'll do the next one with you dropping down here, and you basically having to go over there. Maybe again, let's reduce it in size. Down here, and the like robot being here and chasing you around. Like, okay, it's here, you're here, you have to get past it, and it jumps towards you. And maybe let's do it this way as well. Okay, this is kind of, it's basically okay. You have this situation, now you have kind of the same thing in reverse. It is a different thing because you can't jump and shoot. You have to approach it to somewhere to get like kind of on the same level as it. Or alternatively, you could use one of your extra weapons. I mean, that's also part of the thing, right? Using your extra abilities to get past enemies in some way. Okay. Now we have this part. So we have the first encounter, second encounter, third encounter, fourth encounter. Stage is finished. Third encounter is the most difficult one, which means I think what I'll do here is I'll put a thing up here, and I'll put a thing here. Put the enemy here, and this thing here is covered in ice. Why can't, oh yeah, because it was still marked here. This is like an icy floor. I think this is also going to be an icy floor. Just to do the like old classical thing, I think I'm going to do this also as an icy floor, and this as an icy floor, so that people know, oh, this is a like, it's expected, you know the game already, but I still kind of like to like show people at the beginning, okay, this is what you have to expect. This obstacle is what you have to deal with in some way. And the next encounter, this is kind of actually not good because you can just stand here and shoot it like right at the beginning. So we'll have to go in here and put it a bit further down so that you can't shoot it right at the start. You can maybe shoot it once when it jumps, but after that it might be a bit more difficult. Again, we'll have to see how it works. Also, it'll approach you and then things might get a bit bad. The good thing is I don't have to worry about these enemies falling on your head once you like move the screen, like once you move past them and you haven't killed them, for example, because they get despawned once you reach a screen transition. So that's not something I have to worry about. So then we have this thing here, this last bit, which is kind of like a, in my eyes, a do whatever you want area. And I think what I'll do here is okay, you have this thing, and you have this thing. And I think this is all ice floor now, because it's fun. This way, and then we'll. Oh, let's use. Let's put one of those in here. So, and he'll send his garbage minions after you. Nope, this is like he's too far up. This might get awkward. Let's pick this one. Okay, and that's a stage. Simple, but I think it'll work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Okay, so now we can go in here. See. One. Save it. Flop. Already half an hour. What is time? What is time? Okay, no, that's not what I wanted. I accidentally overwrote the thing. Save as. Save this thing as a PNG. Okay. So we have the level. Then let's start up GameMaker. Take a look at Twitter while GameMaker does its thing. Okay. Maybe if I have time, I'll show something else that I've been working on last week. Also like adjacent to GB Rover. An interesting thing that happened on Friday evening was like over the last 2 months, I think I got occasionally like messages, usually like DMs on Twitter, never emails or whatever. DMs on Twitter by people who said they were interested in porting not GB Rover to consoles, but Splinter Zone, because I mean Splinter Zone is already out and all that. I've mostly ignored like these messages because, first of all, I rarely trust anyone who contacts me with this kind of stuff, because a lot of things in video games are out there to exploit people who would like to be on a console or whatever. Like with the promise of like that this is like what helps you or whatever. When it doesn't and you're getting a bad business deal or whatever. That's one reason I'm like very skeptical of like anything. Really. And like so far, like since I released Splinter Zone, I don't think I've ever gotten like a cold message from someone which wasn't kind of sketchy. So I'm like very skeptical also. Anyway, gotten these messages. Most I haven't like really thought about, because Splinter Zone was made in GameMaker Studio 1 or 1.4, whatever. And for example, in order to port it to Switch, I would first have to like port it over to GameMaker Studio 2, and that's not easy because there's a lot of like strange stuff that I would have to fix first, like within the converted version. Like I tried it like 2 or 3 times. I can't even run the game. I would first have to figure out how to make the game actually run in GameMaker Studio 2, and then figure out, okay, what is all broken, fix that, and then I could start porting it. So it's a bit, it's an extra piece of work in there. Anyway, and that's the other reason. So I'm not all that interested in putting Splinter Zone on a console because of the extra work it would be required. But still, like, I don't know. Like, I got a message from like a publisher that I didn't like, where I didn't know the name of or haven't heard the name before, but I knew a bunch of games that they've published. So I thought, I mean, they do seem much more legit than the ones that have contacted me so far. So I don't know. Let's take a closer look at it or whatever. And I read through the DM, and yeah, they're interested in all that, and then porting to consoles, and then they said, yeah, so after we've covered our costs from the porting and doing the PR and all that, we'll split the revenue that after that, like with a like ratio of like 51% to me, 49% to them, which is like let's just like say it's a 50-50 split. And obviously I haven't seen a contract or whatever, but so far pretty much a specified amount of like, this is how much like porting would cost, this is how much money we would spend. So it's like there's also the risk on that end that the publisher will just like say any number, and since it's them that control all the bookkeeping on whatever, they can like say any number and say, yeah, the costs aren't covered quite yet. We'll keep the money. Completely keeping like all of a game's earnings until they recover the costs of something. I'm not a big fan of it, like still, but I can understand why, especially when they're like putting money up front in some way. Where I had like big issues with what was the 50-50 split. Again, it's 51-49, but what's 1%? And the reason why is because Splinter Zone might be old in some way, but it's still a thing that I made. And I am not a big fan of basically giving my work away, like, or devaluing my work. And this would, like, doing this, what, like, following their proposal would kind of mean for me I'm devaluing my own work, because like in the exchange where I said like that's like not something I'm into, because of like the split isn't like something that I find is fair. They said so you have to look at it this way. We're taking a risk of like porting the game and all that, and this is how we can basically mitigate that. First of all, in the case where I'm earning money, you've already gotten back your costs, so the risk is gone. Now it's only about, okay, let us earn money. So the risk they are taking is that the game won't make your initial investment back. That's the first part. I haven't actually thought about that part, but yeah. Anyway, that was the one argument. The other argument I found very funny was, and also like we're not asking for money up front for the port. So apparently there are like porting studios out there, or like publishers out there that require developers to pay for the port, which I find incredibly sketchy. And like for that point, I like wrote them back and said, just for your own information, if you had asked me to like for money up front to pay for the port myself, I would have immediately blocked you because I find this is incredibly sketchy. Again, especially considering if it's like associated. I can understand that in the sense of, okay, I'm hiring someone myself to port the game. Then, of course, I have to pay for it. But if a publisher does this, and you're handing the distribution rights of your game over to the publisher, which is kind of the thing where they're making like part of the deal. I'm giving you the distribution rights. You take care of the distribution and porting and all that for me. Why should I have to pay for that? That's your job. That's part of your business. I have to pay for making the game. You have to pay to distribute it. Otherwise, I would like keep the distributing rights and pay for it myself. So it's kind of like, again, you can see how in video games, and this is part for any creative industry, there's like huge like examples for like gallery spaces that are kind of like that, where artists have to pay the galleries to exhibit their works, or like book publishers, music labels, where this is kind of similar. Like my oldest brother makes music, like very niche metal music, and basically he's not getting paid by the labels for the music. What he's getting and his bandmates are getting is free copies of the music, like free tapes and like a few like CDs and vinyls, more CDs than vinyls. And the way he makes money then off of it is by selling the physical like media, and not by handing over the rights to distribute said media and produce said media to a publisher or to a record label. And that we get. And again, like it's kind of shitty and exploitative. My brother doesn't care because he's not interested in like it earning money, or like in that regard. He's more like I wouldn't say it's like a hobby for him, because his music is like important to him, but he's fine with it. I wouldn't be fine, because I think, again, it's devaluing the amount of work and energy you put into something. But yeah, that's like the especially like in niche areas, it's okay. You have to build. Where do we have template? I do have. Don't I have like an endless mode template? No, it's just one of these. Duplicate. let's move it up here so that I can see it. What's that? Oh yeah, okay. Forest 1, FR1. That's it is a very good naming convention, friends. I don't know. Let's call it CR1. I think it was forest, like forest shortened FR, but I'm just going to use it this way. Okay. I still have the template room. Good. The background looks ugly, but we can fix this. Templates. But anyway, that was kind of like the thing, whether there's like then exchanger said, yeah, I'll block you, and also like, and then saying, yeah, sure, you're taking the risk and all that, but also it's my work, and I have to be protective of it, and me accepting a split like that is not me being protective of my own work, and like considering like its value, and the value of work I've put into it, and like what I would like my work to be perceived as well, like, and yeah, so, they like, I haven't replied to them, but they asked me like what I would consider to be a fair split. I'm still debating on like replying to them, because I don't like, I'm really not all that like, again, I'm not so overly interested in porting Splinter Zone to console, because I don't think that it, like, frankly, it would warrant the effort, like the financial and time investment that is needed. Also, I had a weird idea that like, if at any point I have a lot of time at my hands and like I'm in a financially stable position, I might actually go back to Splinter Zone, put it over to Game Maker Studio 2, and work on on basically secret improvements, which I won't announce to anyone, and just at some point just update the Steam version to something where the game then looks closer to what I had initially in mind, and which I wasn't really able to do because both of my abilities and all that, kind of doing like a special edition thing. Still keeping somewhere like the old version somewhere around, so that it's not like, okay, it's gone, now the polished version is there. It was just like an idea to have oh, look, there's suddenly the game you had on Steam for something suddenly turned into something new, which I found funny. But again, it's like just an idea I had while I was sitting on the toilet like a few hours ago, so it's not new. But yeah, so you have this, I'm also building this in the wrong way because I'm talking. Anyway, I was asking for a split, like what I would consider fair, like if I were to do this with a publisher, and who knows, like it's always negotiation thing on whatever. If there was a 50-50 split, let's say, I would only accept this, only, and like it's a very big only, if I were to get money up front. You would have to give me enough so that I feel secure enough that I have enough money like to last until, okay, the costs are recouped and I'm now getting enough money out. But also for me to get some kind of like signal from the publisher that they actually are interested themselves in making sure that the game sells, because if they give me money up front, they have to earn more money back for them to recoup their costs. So it's kind of like, for me, like, at least in my mind, a way to make sure, okay, this way they have more of a financial like incentive for them to like actually give a shit about the game, more than just, okay, we ported and then after 2 weeks we'll like reduce the price, like slash the price by 90% for the Switch version or whatever, which is another thing that I'm not into, like, and this is like all part because I'm thinking about putting GB Robo, or like pitching GB Robo to publishers for like console ports and whatever, and this is like stuff that I'm thinking about. Okay, which parameters would be acceptable for me? Which is like what is okay for me, or what is like stuff that I'm okay with, and what is stuff that I'm not okay with. Yeah, okay, good. For a moment I was kind of concerned that the camera would be inside of the thing, but I think this should be okay. Oh yeah, I want to remove the floor so that I can see this. But yeah, that's kind of like where I was at, like mentally, and like thinking, okay, how do I do this like properly, and like how much do I want to like go into like kind of a negotiating thing, because I also don't want to waste the other person's time. I'm pretty sure they like contacted a lot of folks. At least this one made an effort to look up the game, write down the name of the game, and find out my actual name and all that stuff. A lot of like people that contacted me either misspelled Splinter Zone or just wrote something where you could see, okay, they had like an automated thing, and like it automatically set in, okay, this is the name field, the name was wrong. This is like, there was just your game. Like, which game? I made a bunch. Do you want me to like, do you want to port like Face Drop to the Switch? We can do that. But I don't think that anyone is interested in this one. But we could do that. I have to look and see if this actually is the right size. It should be the right size. Good. Because this is something I forgot when I built this thing. I forgot to put these in somewhere to give myself like a guideline. Okay, this is where I have to put down the barriers, but it's okay. Let's do it here. This is the last thing that we need. We don't need anything here, because this will serve as an upper boundary for the camera. It's also good because this way we can, basically the player can jump over here and doesn't collide with an invisible wall. Okay, good. This is placed. Then we'll go in here and then place this thing, this thing, this thing, this thing. Then we go in here and place this thing. I don't think that this is necessary. Sometimes like the collision with this object is a bit weird. But I think this will be okay. So we have this, then okay, then we'll do I have to look at the other level to see what I put in there. But yeah, that was kind of like a weird thing. Oh god, let's do a different color for the background. Camera, please. Ah, okay, I immediately placed the camera there. Okay. I need to go to the objects. Camera is up here somewhere. Yep. Okay. Yeah. So again, that's kind of like was kind of like the thing when like, okay, this is what we're doing now. Okay. And I found it interesting. Again, I've also like I asked them like where they found Splinter Zone, because I'm really confused why suddenly this is the wrong object. Why suddenly people contact me to like specifically support Splinter Zone? I do not understand this. And also like there's like a weird like concentration of like these people coming from specific countries, which is also just like curious, but not something I think, oh yeah, those are like always scammers or whatever. They're always everywhere, like people that want to scam you. Like also got contacted like way back from people in Germany that wanted to like trick me into like doing bullshit, which I haven't done. But yes, it's not about that. It's just like it's like a weird like collection of like stuff where I'm thinking like, interesting. Anyway, so it's like I asked them, like they actually just like searched for games on Steam from a specific genre and contacted me. I'm pretty sure like that they and that's the interesting part is, okay, they just contacted me. It's like, how many are they contacting to get, like, I don't know, to sign 2 or 3 to a contract, and again, how many are like aware of like what these terms that they set out mean in the way, like, okay, you see, it's actually good because we don't ask you for money up front to port the game yourself, like to pay for the port, and we are like still taking money off of it later or whatever. Like basically painting this as a good thing when it's kind of like the base requirement. And okay, we did this. Oh, I forgot one thing, but we can put them here. Put them here. This way. This is okay. So this way. Let's do this here. This is, as I said, this is like the door object. Like when you collide with it, this is what pushes you up or down. I kind of want to like make sure that you're not that you can't jump up, sort of. But yeah, and I was just like, okay, yeah, cool. That's also a thing that happens. And yeah, what I was saying is, how many people are aware of that, who get signed by it. And what I also find interesting is, again, like, I knew a few of those the games that they've already published. So it's not that they are like completely unknown or whatever, but a bunch of folks have agreed to that. And considering the terms that they had for me, and from what I understand, this is the terms they set up for everyone. Who knows if this is true in the end? Again, like negotiation thing. Like they first of all come with this offer, and then you say, yeah, no, no thanks. Maybe they like cave in and say, okay, yeah, we accept a different cut or whatever. Who knows? Yeah, that's. I should probably switch this on. Also, this can be an 8x8 thing now. I also need to set up these. This isn't strictly necessary, but I'll do it to feel safe so that like this one doesn't like end up driving into a wall. Okay, this is done. Then, what else do I need? Instances, yeah, okay, I need to place a player. Play start is, well, I guess in here, I think. Yeah, good. You go in here. Then, admin layer. What does the admin layer need? Pause, parallax. Object control isn't needed. Object parallax, let's just keep it in here for now. I'll deal with parallax scrolling once it's done. Then we need a pause menu. In here you go. Okay, let's see how it looks. Room manager. Put this up here. Yeah, it's always like this thing where like game companies, or like a lot of companies, are trying to like find ways to get money out of people and like sort of prey on your desire to, I don't know, be published on a Nintendo platform, which, to be honest, is something like, as cynical and all that I am about this stuff, I still think would be neat. Like, having grown up with a like on a Game Boy and all that, and then having a game on like the most recent basically Nintendo handheld console would be kind of cool. Just like thinking about, hey, look, you as a like 6-year-old, you played on this thing and now you have like a thing of it yourself. Oh, cool. This is. Oh, I kind of know why this looks kind of strange, at least to some degree. Still don't know why the player doesn't spawn in, but oh, I think I know why the player doesn't spawn in. Actually, admin, player handler. Yeah, okay. This still needs to be done. Then I need to go in here and say, yeah, please make the floor visible for now. So that's like part of it. And you could also make an argument that, okay, if you like, maybe for Splinter Zone, because I don't expect Splinter Zone to make, okay, this also needs to be in here. Interesting, that's okay. I don't expect Splinter Zone to make any money, to be honest, anywhere, like at any point, really. But yeah, just like, so if you don't like, again, I don't expect Splinter Zone to do that well. So you could say, yeah, why don't you just like push it out on console, just that you have something out there, that you went through the process and all that, and that you learned something. But again, it's about me like trying to like value my work, and it's like part of this is also understanding that, yeah, that's if I want to value my work, I have to. Okay, this works. I can fall through here. He can't follow me there. I just wanted to check. Yeah, I mean this is kind of nice and short. This is what they should be. Yeah, cool. No, yeah, works. Doesn't seem to be much of a problem anywhere, so let's just, I mean, there could be a problem that when you fall, let's test this actually. This might be something that I would have to fix. Sorry for like skipping around that much, again, tired and also good old ADHD doing stuff. But so you could make an argument that you use it as a test and whatever, and just do whatever you want. Yeah, no, that's not that much of a problem. I could actually do something here. I think it's in the camera. Player. Camera. Is it here? No. Is it here? Enemy projectile. Let's put it in here. If instance exists, we'll you could make an argument that maybe for just for the experience, it would be okay to accept a bad deal, so to speak. Kind of, but also that would mean allowing yourself. It's kind of like a similar logic to, yeah, okay, if you're starting out like as a freelancer somewhere, like it's good to work for free, because then you expand your portfolio and have working experience and get more exposure. It's kind of like the same idea behind it. You're basically porting your game to a console for exposure. The problem only being that there's also the publisher associated with it. And especially with larger publishers, what you oftentimes get is that people are end up being more aware of the publisher than of the creator. Like one thing that that kind of bothers me is people going like, oh, I can't wait what Annapurna is dropping next. Seen on the Discord server. Nice people, I like them. It's not a problem. I don't blame them. It's when they talk that way because this is what they, whatever Annapurna and also like Devolver and a lot of like the larger publishers do. They push their own brand over the games and make certain types of games associated with their own brand, which kind of creates this thing where you feel like, oh, this is like a such and such game when the publishers didn't make the games. It's the developers that made the games and the publishers are distributing them. They sure have like some kind of creative input, I guess, to some degree, where they say like, yeah, maybe do this and that, or like give some advice. But in the end, it's like the developers that are making it. But a lot of the time, it's the publishers that end up getting more recognition. Then take, for example, let's just do like Wild Things and think, okay, let's assume I would go that way and say, okay, I don't care, let's just port Splinter Zone. And for some weird reason, people on the Switch really like it, and it's get like widely popular, and I don't know, like Nintendo gives me an award or some shit. Let's just say that this happens, which never will happen, but this is a good thing about human imagination. You can imagine the wildest bullshit. Yeah, okay, this works. Let's just assume this stuff and go with it and say, okay, let's just say this all happens. How much do you want to bet that people will end up, like, who will profit more of this? Of course, I will profit it because more people will buy the game and all that, but because I accepted a 50-50 split, I'm not going to profit off of it that as much as I probably should because I made the game. But also, like, who is going to get more recognition and who's also maybe getting recognition for the game? It's the publisher who put it there. When in fact the publisher didn't make it. Doesn't mean that like marketing and distribution and all that kind of work and production of games is unimportant or has a lesser value than making the game. This is like, no, it's part of making the game, but it's still like, if you think about it this way, a publisher doesn't have, like, there's nothing for a publisher to distribute or to sell to people if people wouldn't also be trying to make video games and trying to sell them in an economic system that unfortunately doesn't guarantee everyone that they get what they deserve for their work, or like that can exist just because existing is something that every human has to do, and it should be a basic right to exist without having to work. But anyway, that's even further away. So again, without the developers, there wouldn't be anything to publish. So, but very often time, it's the publishers that get more recognition for like whatever it is they published than the people who made the game. Like, I'm pretty sure if you were to ask people that aren't very like deeply involved in this shit and like follow developers on Twitter or whatever, but only look at, I don't know, what Devolver is doing like streams during E3 week or whatever, and you see, oh yeah, that's a Devolver thing or whatever. I wonder how many people would know, I don't know, Dodge Roll Games, I think, was one of the developers that was there. Flambeer. I mean, Flambeer had like a bit of success aside from that, and they had like, I think they managed quite well to get a bit removed from Devolver in that regard. What's another one? I don't know how many people know that Cactus made Hotline Miami. So, like, who these people were. Maybe a few. I mean, it's, again, somewhere, like, in the credits, it's mentioned. But it's not... Like, when you see Hotline Miami, most people probably don't say, oh, that's a Cactus game. But they say, oh, that's a Devolver game. Completely ignoring that it is a Cactus game, if you, like, knew, like, earlier works of him. Like in that regard, again, completely disregarding like what like kind of game Hotline Miami is and all that blah 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 just like what you associate when you see the game, and it's very often it's the publisher. So even if you were then to go and say, okay, I'll publish my let them publish my game on the Switch or whatever, so that I get more exposure, you'll probably end up not getting as much exposure. Like, probably. Like, what you will do is give your work to a publisher who will get exposure, and you might also get some of it. It's like trickle down economics, and you just hope that some of it trickles down to you, when actually it should be more of an equal partnership. It's still like, sure, the publisher might fund the game, might do the marketing and all that for it, which is why they're taking the cut of the sales, but it's not like, think about it this way: if you were to like consider it a partnership within the development of the game, and you distribute the work and try to like, and you're in a team and say, okay, you're doing the publishing, I do like the development, the art, the sound design, the music, and basically everything that makes the game. And then you talk about, okay, like how do we split the revenue for the kind of work that we did? You could say we would split it 50-50 because it's two people, but also you could say, okay, I worked that amount of hours on it and that amount of time, so therefore I should get more of it, whereas you worked occasionally on it, like trying to like keep everything on schedule, and then you did work, again, important work for like the marketing and all that. You should be paid for that, but also you have to look at what's maybe like what the total amount of, and what's like proportionally the amount of work that everyone has done, like in that regard. And also, it's not only the publisher who has like a financial risk in that, the developers also have a financial risk in that, especially like if you're giving away a game to someone to distribute, because they didn't even fund the development of the game. Like if I'm handing the game over, they didn't fund the development of the game. Technically, the German welfare state funded it, like because I'm getting welfare, and this is where like the money came from that I used to make GB Rover, make Splinter Zone, and every of my other games, because yeah. So technically the money came from there, and I made these games. And then they take the product, take 50% off of it, like basically claiming we made half of this. This is what they're saying. We made half of this. We are entitled to half of the amount this game will sell. And no, you didn't. This is not how it works. But it can work this way because especially over the last few years, publishers have become much more important in terms of like getting people to notice your game. This is like, this isn't about, Steam is flooded or whatever. It's just Games Press, like at this point, really only, like, it's my impression, only cares, like, especially when you're making a smaller game, will only ever pay attention to you if you're coming through like one of the larger publishers, or kind of like have like squeeze into one of these like streaming shows or whatever that are happening, which are also a form of gatekeeping because not everyone gets to be part of these things. I would have loved to put GB Robo into one of them, but I never knew that these things were around, and I probably wouldn't have been asked because I think most of them were like, yeah, okay, we invite these people or whatever, and Lord, you can submit your stuff. And even, again, never heard of it, only when it happened, like, okay, sure, I guess I just keep my game. And yeah, that's me also being kind of like about it, because I would like for people to see this game. And I'm doing my best for more people to see it. But I only have like, me as a person have this kind of like audience and space that I can use. I would like to have more of it. I don't. So I'll do my best with it. But it's still like seeing other people or like having more opportunities. I'm not envious of them. It's more like, cool, yeah, how do I get so far? And again, it's over publishers. Publishers oftentimes gatekeep these things and gatekeep in the end to some degree of commercial success, and to some degree also to a larger degree than a few years ago. So you have these things where, you know, having a publisher would be probably a better idea, than having to do it alone. Because again, publishers are no name. Like if you were to get like a contract or like get a contract with Raw Fury or whatever, and Raw Fury sends a press release out, it's much more likely that people will touch the game and play it. And then if I were to send it out, because like there's some games reporter sees an email from me, they're saying like, who is this guy? Who? What? Let's just ignore it, even if it says like something funny in the email subject line, and all that. And so this is where there's like, again, an incentive to approach publishers or to accept publishers approaching you, which again then makes it more likely, because it's more lucrative, for publishers to come in with less favorable terms for developers, because more developers would want a relationship with the publisher. Again, it's a market situation. More developers would like to like have a publisher behind them. Therefore, there's a higher pool of developers that want them, which drives the price down, because publishers then can choose which one to pick and can therefore also dictate, because they're the gatekeepers again, dictate, like have more power to dictate the terms of the contract. I could, I don't know, pitch this thing, another like Moon scenario. Let's say I pitch this thing to Devolver and say, yeah, sure, and they say, yeah, cool, we would like to have your communist robot game, despite we're being occasionally transphobic shitheads, but sure, let's do this. And I'm morally compromised enough to also accept this. Frankly, with the right amount of money, I might have been, or I might be, because, oh my god, I would really like to not be poor anymore. But yeah, and then we go in negotiations and I say, okay, I would like to have controls over sales. I don't want you to discount the game more than 50% ever. No bundles for the first 2 years. No streaming service, no streaming platforms. Never put the game on Game Pass. Never put the game on like whatever else streaming service there is. Only sell the game, and all that kind of stuff. And also, I would like an advance of that amount. And I would like, even when you're recuperating the cost, we can do a split of like I get 30%, you get 70%, and once you've recouped your cost, I would like to have like a 70-30 split. Please. And I'm getting welfare right now. And how likely do you think that Devolver would say, yep, sure, we'll do that, when they have like this pile of games in their inbox, or like a giant pile of games in their inbox, who would gladly accept a worse deal of games that are like the equal amount of quality or whatever potential reach than I would have? How likely would it be that I would say, yeah, sure, like we find you so interesting that we would give you that money and accept this deal that is much worse for us than just contacting a different developer and like make them accept a like worse deal, because they are much more like, I don't know, have less. I don't want to like egg on developers that accept these deals, because again, it's rough and shit and all that. So, but who would accept worse deals? Let's put it this way, without any kind of judgment why they're doing that. Again, it's for publishers much more easier. Like if developers are much more desperate to get a publisher, and it makes negotiating with publishers as a developer much harder, because it's for them much easier to just say no, because they have plenty of other games that would probably do equally well where they don't have to invest that much money. And again, it's only always a money thing. Where they have to invest less money, are quicker to a point where they recoup the money because they, for example, take a larger cut, and are earning more money from each sale afterwards, because again, they offered a worse cut than like someone else might accept. And also, again, someone who might like, there's probably also a difference between, okay, how well known is the developer before that and all that. And yeah, so that's kind of shitty. And it makes moving in this space hard, because you have to consider, okay, what is it that you can do? Anyway, ranting aside, still have to do the backgrounds here. So maybe let's do that. Might be a good idea. At least now I'm kind of awake. That's nice. I did a lot of weird stuff here because this level has like more like transitions from vertical to horizontal, and yeah, so I think, yeah, these are horizontal tiles. It shouldn't be that big of an issue though, like, come to think of it. Yeah, I can do that. It's not that hard actually. Because I can make these static and only like have the parallax scrolling in the last bit, so it's not that hard. So we start with what do we start? Let's delete all the tiles and see what's where. Okay, this is just this. Okay, I don't need this. Huh? But yeah, this is like kind of like a thing. Like, I'm also like something I'm just thinking about, because again, like, not only did I get contacted by a publisher, it's also I'm thinking about it, because again, I would like for someone else to do the marketing for me, because I think someone else would do a better job for me, and second, it would like just lift a huge problem off my back, and that would be nice. Okay, that's nothing. Okay, 4 and 3. Okay, 4 is this stuff. Yeah, that's easy. Can do this. We can also maybe do one of those here, because it might look more interesting. Let's put one of those here as well. And then the next one, 3, is these vertical ones. Okay. Let's go in here. Ooh, what we could do maybe is put these here. Let's do an offset of like 60 so that it's down here. Maybe let's shift it also around like 32. And then we can do this. We can't do this because for some reason silly me never did a... Okay, this is the top part, and then we just like push this further down, so I also can't do this, right? Nope. Okay, then let's just be boring, I guess. I mean, I could do those here, but then yeah, let's I don't know, put one here, this, and then we'll, because that's not a problem, we put this at, what are you saying? I don't know where I put the 0 now. This is in the, right, let's do it 32. Yeah, that's at the floor level. Good. And these are also, yeah. This should look okay. Let's see. This might not look okay up here. It does. It does. Okay, good. Yeah. Okay, good. Number 2. Number 2 is nothing, I think. Let's look up here. Nope. Number 1 is just like these things, which again is not very difficult. Let's see how I do this properly. Oh yeah, okay. This is just like for now. I think I also have like somewhere like something? Yeah, that's just like a wall, basically. That might look a bit more interesting. But also it's not going to scroll all that far, so maybe do it this way. No, this has to be done this way. Then we'll do, I guess we'll do one of these maybe? No, one of these. Yeah, and then one of this? No. I mean, kind of. This is unfortunate. Maybe I could do this. I guess I would kind of like to do this, and then this, but then like it loses the wall here, and it looks weird. But I want to have like the central element go up here, like this, basically, like this. This is cool. I can't. Cool. Yeah. Thank you, Windows. I don't need you. So I can't put a tile up here, so I have to do it differently. Let's put it at 0. This is completely up here. Okay. I could also do this. Yeah, let's just do this. Okay. Then let's go into admin. Let's delete the parallax object. Oh yeah, I should do a admin. Parallax this one. Duplicate. Not. Oh, it's not persistent. That's interesting. This object isn't persistent. It should be persistent, actually. All other. This one also isn't persistent. It should be persistent, actually. I think. Huh. I mean, I haven't really run into... Yeah, these are all persistent. I don't know. I'm not going to touch this. Yeah, I'm not touching this because I don't know what will happen. It always seemed to be fine, so I'm not messing with it. Anyway, well, let's keep it this way anyway, because it might help me if I have to adjust something that's specific for this mode. Okay, let's have this, and then do I want to? Yeah, let's try it out now and see how it looks. If it works or whatever, and then we'll add the other floors, and we're done. But yeah, that's kind of like part of the stuff I've been thinking about, especially like the last few days. So there's no ceiling here. That's kind of don't like this. Might put the barrier a bit further up that you can at least jump high and that it's not that awkward. Yeah, but that looks okay. When you move backwards, there's like a tiny bit of black screen, but who moves backwards? I could probably fix it. at least to some degree, but no, it's okay. Let me think. Yeah, one thing I also have to do is do a foreground here. Add layers, create new tile layer. How is it called? Is it, yeah, lowercase, okay. Okay, that's the normal one. Yeah, because it's snowing in this level. I don't even know if like the snow moves, but like, let's just be sure that it does. Okay, we've done this. Now we go in here, create layer, new tile layer, create sublayer, new tile layer. Let's do 3. I think I may only need 2, but it's yeah, it'll be okay. So let's do down like the furthest downwards, whatever that was. Wrong thing. General tile sets. What was the floor again? Oh yeah, it was like this one. Yeah, this stuff over here. So, well, I don't know. Let's first do this. Okay. Yeah. I mean, if like once I'm done, how long have I been going? 1.5 hours, yeah, probably. Once I'm done, I might actually go and show you the pitch deck that I'm working on, because that's something that that I've been doing again. I have to be done with it by the end of next week, because someone else wants to take a look at it. Like, thankfully. And yeah, so it's weird to make this because I haven't done a presentation in almost 10 years. The last presentation I did, I think, was either by the end, like at the end in late 2011 or in late 2012. I think it was in late 2011. Yeah, it should. Or was it late 2010 actually? It might have been late 2010. If I think about it. No idea. Then. Yeah, I think it was late 2010. Because the last regular course I did at university was in winter of 2011. And I don't think that I gave a presentation there. So yeah, it's been over 10 years. Actually, like going to crumble to dust once I'm finished here. But yeah, it's been a while. Let's put it this way, and so like trying to figure out, okay, what is it that I wanted to do here, and how do I do it, and like what am I doing, and all that incredibly fun stuff. Okay, yeah, we have. Okay. Yeah. Interesting way of building a level, I have to say. Good. So this is like here. So we'll start. Let's start with the ice floors because those are the easiest. Let's put one here, 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 yeah, and here. Let's put the right thing here, 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 and up there somewhere. Here and here, and then let's do the rest of it. Okay, we have done this. Now the other parts of the floor are one thing I want. Yeah, okay, I can do that. Just wanted to check how I built this stuff so that I kind of keep the same kind of style. Where is the floor here? Fucking hell. Okay. Okay. This is, I think, a bit more beneficial for me. Don't ask me why I'm not putting down the middle things first. I sometimes don't know what I'm doing. So yeah, I've been working on a pitch deck for GB Roba. Again, because I want to get this to publishers and I need to practice this stuff and haven't done presentations and talks and all that in a while. I'm not so afraid of like doing a talking thing. What I do find very hard to do or difficult to do is figure out how do I like, and because also I'm not making games in this way. How do I talk about, okay, these kinds of players I'm going to try and address. These kind, like, this is what the publisher, like, why the publisher should care about the product, because, never, like, I'm not, this isn't how I think about, like, this when I'm making a game. So it's weird. Also, I've done this wrong. I'm just realizing, at least in this part here. Oh, it's okay. This is why we do this later. Okay. I think it was this stuff here or this stuff here. I've been kind of using for like, okay, these are like sort of vertical walls. Or oh no, it was these. No, these with the offset in it. Let's do this way. And yeah, so like then having to like think about like stuff where like, okay, this is how I want to address this. This is how I want to talk about this, and this is how I don't want to talk about this, and all that fun stuff is interesting. So yeah, it's been fun. And hard, but I think in a good way. Like, it's not something I'm like, it helps me figure out, okay, this is what GB Roba actually is. And I made some like very nice or interesting observations for myself, like how I would like to describe stuff, and also how I would like generally try to like describe the games that I'm making, what they are and what they're supposed to be. So that's a good thing. Like, again, this forces you also to kind of think about it in not really, oh, how do I have to sell this, but how can I explain this to someone else aside from, oh, well, yeah, I was bored and I made this. There's like, even even if this is the case, even if you were bored and made this because you were bored, there's still a reason why you decided, I don't know, like for example with GB Roba, why I decided to give the players a double jump, why I decided to give the player an air dash that gives you invincibility frames, or like this drop dash that you can do and all that other kind of stuff. There's like always a reason why you choose to do these things, even when you're saying, oh well, I was just messing around and this is what happens. There's like still some kind of thing that makes you go, oh, this game needs this, and this game needs this because you want to create a certain experience, a certain like messaging or communication with the player to some degree. So that's always there. And this is like when you then like spend some time to think about it, where you can then like which you can then use to address your marketing. For example, like with the which players should this address? I wrote down, well, I essentially made it for myself, which is true. Also I need to offset this by 16 pixels or else it won't be in frame. Which is true. I made this game for myself, but like in the final pitch deck, I'm not going to say that, and more like trying to describe myself as a player. Like these are the things, like I'm just like describing it as like fictional person who has these criteria, and like these are like the criteria that like I fell in mostly, because this is how and why I built the game, because I wanted to like express certain things and put certain things in this game, and I built it in a certain way, because like some games deeply annoy me because they are not built in that way. So that's kind of the thing, and this is like what I said, like it like addresses these kind of people, and it communicates with these kinds of people and tries to address them and like talks to them. But also, I don't know, these 3 other kinds of people might also be interested in it. I don't know. This looks terrible, so I should do something about it, like this wall over here. It's easy. It's very, very easy to do so. Let's just put one of these here. Maybe let's go here and put this thing here and put this thing away and just blah 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 blah. I think I'm also going to do this here. Yeah, let's just do it this way. Oh, this is how I built the side walls here. Oh well. I'm just going to do this instead now. But what I can do is, I don't know, put 2 here, put some of them there. In these cases, this looks terrible. Did this also have like singular blocks or whatever? No, it didn't. It's okay. Yeah. Last thing, this. Okay, I think we're done. Oh no, I'm not completely done. Now I should be done. Can also switch to full screen in a second. Let's go into full screen mode. Okay, we're here. Why doesn't the what? Okay, this is like again. Give me a second. I'm saving the thing, deleting, like closing GameMaker, because sometimes when you place tiles, GameMaker just said, no, you haven't placed the tiles. Like, what? Tiles? No, they're gone. Like, what? So let's reload everything and see what happens. Now we can go back to here. Oopsie. This way. So yeah, that's weird. Let's see. Will it let me see my tiles this time around? Or are you going to be strange? Yeah, there they are. Good. The one up here aren't displayed anyway. Still displayed. Okay. Oops. This looks weird. I hate this. Maybe I lower this part where the player starts a bit, and then you have to jump up, and then on the ice. This might be a way to do it. Okay, yeah, let's just do this now. Tiles, was it this? Yeah. Okay. Okay, this is just everything again, or like parts of it again. Let's do Leander until I'm finished. It's like not a long soundtrack, but it's okay. Let's remove this. Floor. This far, yeah. Okay. Objects, environmental, floor. Yeah, could also go this far down. No, let's do it this way. No, that's. I mean, could just why aren't we just simple and do it this way? No, I can't do this. I have to go on here, and then this is terrible. I also know why this is like not in picture, because it like all goes 16 pixels further down. Let's just let's just keep it this way, and instead I can do two things. Could do two things, and I think I'm doing the other one. First of all, let's remove this. Nope, not the last two. This stuff. Then we go in here. First of all, push this stuff way up. Way up. Push this stuff way up. And we go in here. We pick this thing. Move it up, because we can move it up. It's not important that it's here, as long as it's above the camera. Okay. Then we'll do that, and do that, and do that. Yeah, sure. This way I'm up here, but at least I can jump out of the screen without... Oh. Oh. This is garbage. I might have to redo this. I could do yeah, let's do something else. Because here I'll jump out of the room, and when you're out of the room you get teleported back to where you've like last touched the ground, and it's just bad. So let's put you here. Floor. No, tiles. Goodbye to this. Goodbye to this. Floor. Goodbye to this. Goodbye to this. Instances. You move over here. And sure, the player will start facing the wrong direction. But it's okay. Because now I can also floor, go in here. I don't know. Go in here. Like a bit of a lower floor here. Border is here. Yeah, okay, good. Was just thinking, okay, where do I have to put this? Okay, good. Okay. Yeah, this is fine. I can live with this. It looks good. I mean, technically I could also yeah, I could like shrink these gaps, but let's just keep it this way. Makes it a bit safer that they don't fall down and cause issues. They shouldn't cause issues, but meh. It's okay. Like, it's not the main game. I can live with this. Okay, so another level done. 1 of 36, only 34 more left of these screens. Yeah, good. Let's try and see if I can show the pitch deck to you and talk a little bit about it, like to finish this off. So yeah, this is what I've made so far. Basically, the requirement is to have between 6 and 9 slides. But right now I have 9. I would like to go down to 6 because this is like a thing I always said try to do with presentations. Have as little amount of slides as you need, as you can, because no one needs to trudge through a presentation of like 32 slides within 30 minutes where you have to press through 1 slide per minute, which all have way too much text and where you end up reading off of the slide instead of talking to the audience. All stuff that happens at university, because no one is like being, or at least back then, I have no idea how it's now, but no one was taught how to do presentation. It's just like, yeah, okay, you start doing presentation, and so, like, you just like finagle your way through it without knowing what works and what doesn't. You just have to like get through it, and it was like a lot of the time it was bad. And it's not only something that like where students were bad, also teachers. Like I saw a bunch of very terrible presentations. Anyway, so I would like to reduce the slides, but yeah, I have even no idea if, like, for example, the title slide would count as towards one of those. So in that regard, I would have had 8. But anyway, so this is the title card. This is about my game GB Rover, a game about shooting your bosses and fighting for a better world. This is kind of like the elevator pitch that I landed on. And I think it's important to, like, give yourself, give whoever's, like, watching this or, like, looking at this. I don't even know how where and, like, I'm supposed to send the pitch deck then to. I'll have to ask about that and figure that out. But, like, suppose someone just looks at this without me explaining it. This still kind of gets across what this game is, without me having to talk more about this, and should give you an impression. This is just, like, about myself because I make this game on my own, and this might be of interest. This is my name. I'm 37 years old. I have a degree in physical anthropology. And I didn't find any job after that, so I started making games after graduating, mostly to pass time, and it was kind of fun. I had no idea how to make games when I started out, so everything is kind of self-taught, like kind of like gathered at like different parts and whatever, and like stuff where I'm thinking, okay, this is how I would do it, and just do it. In 2017, in June, I released a commercial video game called Splinter Zone. I also released a bunch of smaller projects on my itch.io page. It's been a while since I last released a commercial game for personal health reasons. The main driving force behind GB Rover, and frankly, like behind a lot of the other games I've been making or like trying to make, is the understanding that I would like for the player to kind of be a force of nature. Which is a bit different than a usual thing where you're talking about game as a power fantasy. Surely you can interpret it as a power fantasy, and it is kind of a power fantasy. But what I mean when I say force of nature, kind of like, okay, the player is a big wave of destruction, and you go through the whole game world, and whatever you leave behind is different than what happened before. Kind of like when a big rainstorm like goes over like the countryside. The countryside will feel much different after the rainstorm than before, or like take a larger natural like occurrence, like a volcanic eruption or whatever. And the next thing, and this is like also part of like my personal like beliefs about what stories I want to tell and should be told, is it should never be about restoring the world to a previous kind of idyllic or idealized state, which a lot of games are. You have like this setup of, okay, the world was kind of fine and good, then this evil thing happened, and you have to go out and make sure that everything is correct again, basically restoring the world to the status quo. Again, if you think about the force of nature, it rarely restores the world to an idyllic status quo. It always changes the world to something else. So this is kind of the idea behind that. And in that regard, GB Rover isn't about upholding the status quo and not about fighting for those in power. You're not fighting for like the state. You're not fighting for some good king or whatever. You're fighting for the people, because it's the people that are oppressed by those in power, and those in power need to be removed for the people to have a chance of a better future. And that's the basic idea behind the game. Structurally, GB Rover is a 2D platformer with 3 stage selection, so you have like 4 stages where you can go wherever you want, 4 bosses that need to be removed before you can move on. You get extra weapons and power-ups when you do that, kind of like what you can understand in different things. And the second part of the game is much more linear and like has like a stronger focus of you slowly approaching the lair of the ominous doctor boss, who is like the final antagonist in the thing. And yeah, I also never practiced this thing as a talk, so if this is weird and I'm reading off the slides, it's because I haven't practiced anything. And aside from, okay, I want the player to be a force of nature, again, you can think about this what does this exactly mean aside from, you have to change the status quo, not restore it and all that. One thing that's very important for me is to build a game where players never stop moving, where it's always about, okay, you move forward. Again, you to create this impression that you're a wave of destruction that rolls over the land. And a wave of destruction doesn't stop because it messes up a jump 800 times because it's pixel perfect for some reason. It's about, sure, there are challenges and there's a resistance because you're trying to change the world and the world refuses to change. But it's also about you keeping your momentum as long and as best as you can. And those are like several like elements that I want to like, or that are part of this idea of you like being able to never stop moving. You have lots of movement options that are actually optional. There's a double jump, a dash, and kind of a drop slide in there that each give you more speed, invincibility, the opportunity to damage enemies in different ways. But aside from the double jump, and even that one, none of this is really necessary to complete the game. I built the game mostly with an air dash in place, but the double jump I only added basically once I've finished all of the levels. It's all about giving players more options to move, more options to get past certain challenges, finding their own ways through it, and also taking higher risk. The drop dash is incredibly powerful, but if you mistime your jumps, you're either it's incredibly short, or you end up flying into a pit without any chance of recovering. So it's like there's a high risk behind it. So you kind of have to know what you're doing to some degree, and it's also something that, for example, if someone does know what they're doing and is more proficient with the game, where they can push themselves, where they can find new challenges in it, whereas other people that don't need that challenge don't have to engage with these systems. It's completely optional in that regard. There's a regenerating ammunition system, so your sub-weapons that you get don't have limited ammunition per level like some other games do. Instead, all ammunition share the same pool, but this pool regenerates over time when the weapon isn't used. This way, you can quickly change or switch between different weapons, use them depending on your situation, and again, keep going, because the ammunition while you're moving will regenerate over time, and you can keep using weapons, keep switching weapons. And the next part is health isn't depending on your luck, so there aren't any health drops or things that you can find that heal you in the level. Instead, the health system is tied to an energy meter that fills up by either destroying enemies or getting hit by enemies, kind of as an idea of like, the stronger the system pushes back against you and the stronger the system punches you down, the stronger or the more you're able to punch back, which means that not only does this energy meter heal you when you spend it and when you activate it and go in a so-called hyper state or whatever, it also increases your damage. When your health beyond that, once your health drops beyond a certain point, I think it's 10 HP, your damage gets doubled anyway, so it gets increased again, trying to push this idea of you've been pushed to the brink, but this is where you're actually the strongest and you're not going to back down, you're not going to take less risk. Instead, you're getting stronger the more like the system pushes against you, and you're getting more able to push back. And this is actually the moment where you have to go even more in the offensive and not back down. So this is kind of the idea behind it. And I frankly think it works well. I don't know. This is like part of this. Let me just like put this. Everything. This is like where I deleted everything. This is like the part where I'm trying to say, okay, who's going to address this? Where just put and describe yourself without mentioning that you're describing yourself. So if I were to describe myself as like, I really like action platforming games, but I hate to play most of them because they get too difficult too quickly. They overload levels with gimmicks and challenges. They conflate difficulty with interesting level design. Like in my eyes, to be honest, I sometimes do this as well, but and it gets to a point where like the amount of challenges are just overwhelming to me, and I lose interest in keeping playing them because they have interesting systems for me to engage with, but they require this large amount of perfection just to play the game that I don't want to, because I would like to play the game and experience the joy that is pressing a button. That's the other part that I've like. That's part of this. So this is the one part. Also, I would like to play more games where your goal isn't again to restore the status quo, but instead to in some way use your power to fundamentally change the world and improve the world and give people hope for a better future. Because also, again, in the times we live in, this is something that is much more interesting than giving something where you help the king restore his kingdom or defeat all the evil, insane robots that are rampaging or rebelling against whatever. No, it's about you fighting to overcome capitalist oppression, for example. That would be more interesting. And I don't need these games to be smart about this stuff. I think just having something that does this and is also very, very upfront about it, not being subtle and not being smart, is also fine. I would personally find it more interesting to have these kinds of experiences. So these kinds of people it addresses, and also, of course, people that like these games in general. I think there's like a lot of stuff to gain from there. People that also like to, for example, challenge themselves via like speedrunning or whatever, also through like making the game more difficult. The game has, like GB Robo has, a fairly extensive amount of like assists and gameplay modifiers that not only make the game more approachable to people, like in terms of like, okay, enemies do less damage, you deal more damage, stage hazards work differently and all that. There's also like a way to increase the damage enemies do to you. So if you want to have a tougher challenge, you can do that. And it gets to a point where the game becomes very difficult because it's getting very punishing, basically killing you in 1 or 2 hits instead of like 8 to 10. So that's like the next part that's there. So people can adjust the experience to their liking. And it's also something that offers a different experience, like when you play it several times, not because it's randomly generated or whatever, but because the level design and everything is so reliable that once you've learned the challenge to overcome the challenges, it feels more interesting and more like it feels different to play, because you like it has this part what I call the joy of mastering something. Just as a reference, a game I think that does this incredibly well is Carol Blaster, which again is kind of like part of the inspiration of all of this, where sure it is difficult, but it is so reliable in the way what enemies do and how your controls work and everything, that over time you can kind of understand what you have to do and can get past this and realize, oh, wait a second, I'm getting better at this. And once you replay it, you suddenly realizing, wait a second, this passage that took me like several tries to get through, I suddenly can get through it in one go. And it is a very satisfying thing. It's not something that everyone does. But again, there are people who just like to play games because they feel nice to play. And they even feel even nicer to play when they get kind of more comfortable over time and don't keep the same degree of challenge forever. So why should publishers care? I have no idea. GB Robo is a big ball of destructive energy. I think that's cool. GB Robo is a game that's not afraid to state about what it's about. You won't get from me any kind of statements about, I don't know, like the anti-capitalist undertone in GB Robo. I completely no, that's not a political statement. Not at all. Totally no. I think the players should make up their minds and come to their own decisions. Completely disregarding that I'm trying my best to make sure that they come to like very specific conclusion or whatever. This is like I'm doing my best to make sure that the game states what it's about as loud and as obnoxious as it can be, because I don't think that it's like that you have to be subtle about this. It's perfectly fine to be loud and bombastic about wanting to get rid of capitalism. The game doesn't overstay its welcome. Levels are short. gimmicks are short. There's a huge amount of variety in it. The game itself is short. Like it's basically half the size of a Mega Man game. Note to self, find a different way to describe this. Maybe don't mention this, but yeah, so this is how this works. And as I said, it gives you a nice experience on subsequent playthroughs because it gets easier over time the more you play it. And you can, if you want a steeper challenge, you can increase the damage enemies do and therefore have less of a room for error and have more of a challenging experience, no matter what you really want to do. And again, you can adjust the experience to a fairly large degree to what you want to have. You can even remove all the enemies. And that's what I need. That's like money shit. That doesn't need to concern anyone. But there were numbers on there. Kind of like, okay, I want, if I were to do the thing, I would like this amount of money for it. I'm still like debating the numbers, by the way, but it's not something that's there. But yeah, that's kind of like the pitch deck. Still a lot of work. It's very boring. I want to put way more GIFs in there because I think they are much more interesting than this. Not putting a point in here and say GB Robo is a big ball of destruction and just show it. Because that's more interesting and all that. But I haven't gotten around to it. That's something for next week. And I'll also practice this a bit more. But it was because it was way too much reading off of the slides. Because they were also right in front of me. But yeah, that's kind of me trying to prepare a pitch. No idea if anyone, if like this is like enticing to never done this. But this is also like actually for me a good way to find ways to describe my game to different people. Kind of, okay, this is this and that. And that's actually really useful because this gives me ways to like try when I'm trying to market the game or when I'm trying to like approach press for this. No, I know I can have different ways to describe the same product and can this way find ways to maybe interest them in it. Like the game is all these things, like all of these different kinds of viewpoints, and it's all that. And if this one viewpoint is interesting for you and you want to cover it, for example, it still is all these other things, and this might be interesting for you as well. And this, just in that regard, it's very helpful. Also, I'm realizing like talking about this is very helpful because it gives me more idea how I can better maybe describe this. But anyway, this is kind of it. We built a level. It's been 2 hours again, so I'll stop here. As always, if anyone has watched this, I'm still trying to upload this on the YouTubes. But if anyone has watched this, please go to Steam. Search for GB Roba or look in the video descriptions or whatever else. When you're watching this on YouTube, there should be a link in the video description. Go there and please wishlist the game. You would help me tremendously with that. It would help with visibility and maybe later on also with sales if it becomes important for people to buy the game at some point. That would be cool as well. But yeah, that would be tremendous if you could go and wishlist the game and also like entice other people maybe to wishlist the game. Would be great. And yeah, if you bought Splinter Zone on Steam, by the way, just as a reminder, and you haven't written a review on it and you like the game, please leave a review on Steam. I'm at 6 user reviews. I need 10 for the game to get a rating. And I think if I get 10, it also boosts the visibility of the game. And having a higher visibility on Splinter Zone also means ultimately in some way GB Robo gets a higher visibility because I can do cross-promotion stuff with announcements on Steam or whatever. And also I get a tiny bit more money maybe. That's the other thing, and that would be great. I have no idea how to ask people for reviews in a way that is actually getting them to do them. I occasionally try to post it on Twitter. Post gets shared around. No new reviews appear. Which is, yeah, okay, cool. I don't know. I don't blame people. It's exhausting and it's shitty that people have to do that and that I have to motivate people to do that. But it's like how it is. Algorithms, they're great. Anyway, again, please wishlist GB Robo. It's a nice game. You've seen some of it. You've seen stuff that will be part of the game at a later point. Again, it's for a later update. But it'll be good. Because the rest of the game is also interesting. You have a nice time with it. I think you have a nice time with it if you're like into these kinds of games. Anyway, that's been it. I hope you have a nice week, day, or whatever time it is where you are. And I'll guess I see you next week. Yeah, that should work. Again, I never know on which day, either Saturday or Sunday. Usually I do these streams in the afternoon, like around 3 p.m. my time. And yeah, we'll build a level. I'll talk about stuff that happened, and maybe I show something else when I think about it or think it might be interesting. But that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon, I guess. Bye.